Welcome to Truth Talk Live.
All right, let's talk.
The truth is, I can't hide it, I can't hold it no more.
A daily program powered by the Truth Network.
This is kind of a great thing, and I'll tell you why.
Where pop culture, current events, and theology all come together.
Speak
Your mind.
And now, here's today's Truth Talk Live host.
Welcome to Truth Talk Live. This is Peter Rosenberger. Glad to have you with us. 866-34-TRUTH, 866-348-7884. You know I live in Montana, and it's fall in Montana. Do you know what that means? That means hunting season. We've just wrapping up, I believe, bow season, and now we're getting ready to go into rifle season. And I thought, well, who better to talk about this and what's going on with all things hunting than these two guys who have a great program for this. They're twins, and they are hunting for God. And in the process, they are inspiring, entertaining, and just taking a lot of folks on a wonderful ride of learning things about life, outdoors, hunting, and more importantly, a walk with God. And that is Chad and James Hampton. And you know what? I don't know which one is which. They're twins. And you've probably seen their show. And so I'm on the radio, so I can't even look at them. So I can't tell you apart vocally. I can't tell you apart physically. So I'm just going to let one of you just always say, hey, this is Chad or this is James. But, guys, I am glad to have you on the program. And I will tell you, I'm not much of a hunter. I'm learning to be. I have four brothers who are all hunters and fishermen. And here I move out to Montana. And they're looking at me and thinking, why are you out there? And we're not, because they all live back east. But I'm learning how to fly fish. And then I've got a buddy of mine that's going to take me elk hunting next month. So I've been told. And so I don't know exactly what I'm going to. I walked out of my, we live way up in the Rockies. And I walked out of my house and there's a 5x5 buck right in my backyard. I mean, he's just looking at me. He's like 15 feet away. If I had a rock, I could have hit him. And so I thought, you guys, this would mean something to you all to of where I live and what I get to do here. And but I wanted you to introduce yourself to this audience and talk a little bit about your story. So I tell you what, why don't we go with let's go with alphabetically. Chad. Let's go with Chad first. And so, Chad, tell us about you guys and tell us about your program, your TV program, Twin Factor.
Yes, thanks for having us. We really appreciate it. It's a blessing. James and I, we have Twin Factor TV. We are on the Audition Direct TV on TCT Network Saturdays at 7 p.m. and also the Dove Network and KCH TV 11, which is based out west. It's all Audition Direct TV. But our show started back in 2015. We were asked if we'd ever considered having an outdoor television show as twins because there wasn't a set of twins in the outdoor industry that had a show. And we said, yeah, we'll consider it. We don't want another faith project. we already had a ministry at the time, Huntin the Truth Ministries, and we weren't really looking to start a TV show. But we prayed about it, and as we prayed, we came across the verse in Genesis 1:26 that stuck out to us. It says, let us make mankind in our own image and likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the sea and the birds of the sky. And so it was very interesting. It was kind of enlightened to us, and what that says in that verse is God said, let us make mankind as a twin to us. As to twins, and that verse means Father, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So it says, let us make mankind in our image and likeness, twins to Jesus, and let's give them a purpose. And so we thought, man, that's interesting. And so that's the reason why we created Twin Factor TV with that name. Obviously, we're twins. And we call it factor because the word factor means to have the impact on the outcome of something. And we thought it was fitting that we're twins, and we trademarked our slogan, Be the Factor, because what we not only have a show named Twin Factor, but it gives us the opportunity to teach when we go out and speak that we're all made in the image of God in his likeness, and he's given all of us a plan to go out and be the factor or have an impact on the outcome of other people's lives. And so that's how Twin Factor got started. We started on the Pursuit channel for 2 years, and we were on Hunt channel, and then we were on a streaming platform through COVID. When COVID hit, it kind of slowed down everything TV-wise, so we kept Twin Factor TV episodes the first few seasons on a streaming platform. And then as of this this year in June, we started airing on Dish and Direct TV on 5 different Christian outdoor networks.
Well, this is marvelous. James, what is the favorite hunting activity that you like? I mean, there's all kinds of different hunting, and like I said, I'm going to try my hand at elk hunting here next month, but I've never done it before. I've got like brothers and family members that are rabid doing it, and they're looking at me just thinking, and I didn't tell them how much my elk tag was because it would cause them to stumble, but because I'm a resident here. But what is your favorite type of hunting?
So I would say deer hunting is probably my favorite. We've been deer hunting since we were 7 years old. Our father took us out hunting with him, bow hunting when we were 7, and so we've loved deer hunting and bow hunting since then. So bow hunting is probably what we like to hunt the most, and then turkey hunt's right behind that for me. I love the turkey hunt as well in the spring, and then we love to hog hunt as well. We travel south a lot for ministry. We're down there all the time. There's a lot of hogs down there, and it makes for good TV. So we get to hog hunt a lot as well. We haven't been out west yet. Actually, if we tell everybody, if we go out west and we hunt too much out there, we want to stay married. So we can't hunt too much. So, but we are going to go out west here coming up pretty soon. We have a good friend of ours that lives in Arizona. And we're going to do some elk hunting and some different hunting coming up soon. We are full-time in the ministry and TV now, so we are going to have a little bit more time. We had full-time jobs all the way up until a few months ago, along with our TV show and our ministry for years. So we're finally to the point where we can go full-time, and we're going to have more time to go out west now.
Well, about this time last year, I was out on horseback, and I was coming down. We're up about 6,000 feet. And we're backed up to the National Forest. And I was coming down this one draw, and it was pretty gnarly where I was. And I came on 2 bull spikes, and then I heard a third one bugling. And I got to admit, guys, I did get a bit of the fever. When you're out there doing that on horseback, and I mean, I'm out in a place where there's not a lot of people have been, and it's just it's extraordinary to be able to get outdoors, be with the Lord and think through things and see His creation. And I love to eat elk. I don't hunt for trophies. I hunt for food, and I love to eat it. So listen, we're going to talk some more with you guys when we come back. This is Peter Rosenberger. This is Truth Talk Live, because I want you to hear what these guys have done with this ministry. It's not just a pastime for them. It's a ministry, and we'll be right back. Don't go away.
You're listening to the Truth Network and truthnetwork.com.
Welcome back to Truth Talk Live. This is Peter Rosenberger. Glad to have you with us, peterrosenberger.com. I was talking to a friend of mine this morning who has a special needs child with serious disabilities, and you all know I do a radio program for caregivers. I've been one for 4 decades, and you can see more about that at peterrosenberger.com. But she was telling me, she said, I said, how are you doing? And he said, well, we're up all night changing sheets and everything else, and it's just she was pretty tired. And I told her about this company that I found that I love. It's called Peel-Aways, and they make fitted sheets that have built-in chucks in them, like you find in the hospital, to line it, but you don't have to lay it there, and you could just tear them off. If something happens, you spill, you have a problem, your kid has a problem, your aging parents have a problem, somebody has a problem, or you just spill something, or you're bleeding, or whatever. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, take it off, throw it away, and you don't have to change the bed in the middle of the night. Now, would that be helpful to you as a caregiver? Yes, it would. Go out to my website, peterrosenberger.com, and look right there under Peter Recommends. You'll see Peel-Aways. You put in my name, Peter, and you'll get a 10% discount on this. It's a great product. I've tried them. I don't recommend things I don't try. I tried them. They're great, very comfortable, and they're going to save you time, headache, stress, and all the above. Do you need some help with that area? Well, guess what? I found it for you. Go take a look at it, peelaways.com. We are talking with Chad and James Hampton. They are hosts of the show Twin Factor, and they are also the co-founders of the ministry Huntin the Truth. Now, it's not hunting the truth, it's hunting the truth. Is that what I understand, Chad?
Yes.
I was raised, even though I live in Montana, I was raised in the South, so I speak fluent Southern. And I understand hunting the truth. You guys, when you created this, what is your primary mission with this? Because this is a great title for a ministry, and what is your primary mission with this?
Yeah, so the mission of our ministry, this is James, by the way. The mission of our ministry is to use hunting in the outdoors as a vehicle to share the gospel wherever we go. We get to travel all over the country, and we're going to be traveling internationally here pretty soon. So that's the mission. That's a pretty broad mission. But we have three different parts to our ministry and how we fulfill our mission. We have a speaking ministry. We speak at any event that is hunting related or outdoor related. We speak at a lot of wild game dinners, prayer breakfast, youth events, men's conferences. We even do Sunday morning camo church services. They call them camo church services. Pastors will have us in on a Sunday to their church, and they'll plan a hunting-themed service for Sunday, and they'll invite as many people as possible, tell them to wear camo, and then they'll have us in, and we get to share our Huntin the Truth message. We do those. We call them hunters gatherings and hunting camp weekends. We call them hunting camp weekends. Ministry leaders and Christian hunters will have us into their area. We do hunters gathering on a Friday night where we share more of an evangelistic message on Friday. And then on Saturday, we do a seminar on our book, Secrets of the Hunt. And then on Sunday, we preach a Sunday morning Camel Church services. We do those all around the country. And so we have a speaking ministry. We've started speaking in Christian private schools as well, and public schools. We do a lot of speaking in the school systems now as well with our Huntin the Truth message. So we have a speaking ministry. We have a media ministry. We own our own production company called Twins Media. So we produce content, Christian content and hunting content that we produce, and we get it out. We call it our Huntin the Truth outdoor online community. We do devotions. We do different devotions and different things on social media. We do like sermons and different things as well that we produce and we get out on our social media. So we do that. And then we have a hunting part of our ministry. We focus on taking youth out hunting who do not have fathers, and also physically challenged men, women, and children. That's the third part of our ministry. Just real quickly, one of the things we get to do, that we've gotten to do over the years, the first year of our TV show on the Pursuit Channel, 2015, we had a sergeant major from Fort Benning see one of our episodes, and we were taking the youth out hunting on that episode, and he called us and he asked if we would partner up with them on Fort Benning to start the first Gold Star hunt for the kids who lost their father on active duty. So we traveled down there to Fort Benning and partnered up with them, and we filmed the first Gold Star hunt, and we got to film the kids, guide them, and we got to, of course, share Jesus with them when the opportunity opens up. But we put that hunt on our TV show as well. So that's just an example of some of the things we get to do in our ministry. So we have a speaking ministry, a media ministry. Of course, our Twins Media produces our show, Twin Factor, and then we have a hunting ministry as well. So our mission is to use hunting in the outdoors as a vehicle to spread the gospel, and those are the three main ways that we fulfill our mission.
That had to be deeply meaningful on those Gold Star hunts.
Yes.
James, what was that like for you?
Well, it was.
Wait a minute. That was James. I got to go to Chad. Chad, what was that like for you?
If we had to rate, the top hunts that we've ever done, period, in our hunting career, those hunts would probably be right at the top because, like you said, it is the most meaningful. We can't do enough for the Gold Star community. One of the great things is we get to guide them, and we get to take them out hunting, and we do put it on the show, but we get to stay in a relationship with them. The kids that we first took out on the very first Gold Star hunt now are graduated, and some of them are in college, and we've gotten to see their growth and stay in relationships with their family, and they've been through a lot, so we can't do enough for them. So it's at the very top of our hunting highlights in our career for sure.
Yes.
When you take out special needs family members to hunt, because I've been involved with a lot of folks who do this over the years, and it's amazing. Gracie and I have worked a lot with wounded warriors that go out and do some hunting. What are some of the things that you've seen that have really touched your heart and inspired you with special needs hunters? And I'll let either one of you take that one.
Story. Yeah, this is Chad. So I'll tell you a hunt that we took a man out on. When we first, toward the beginning, when we first started the ministry, we took a man out who was healthy at one point, and then he contracted a blood disease where he had to have both of his arms and legs removed, amputated. And we took him out on a deer hunt, and they make this, we call it a contraption, where it's like at a V table where you set the gun in the V table, and the butt of the gun goes against the chest, and they can aim it with their chest. They can move it back and forth, and there's a tube that goes from the gun up to their mouth, and they can blow into that tube, and it pulls the trigger for them. And we took this man out on this hunt, and a buck came in, and he aimed that gun himself and blew into that tube and shot that buck and killed it pretty much all by himself. And you could see the hope on his face after that happened. You know, a lot of the people, the people that we take out in our ministry in wheelchairs and those type of hunts, they don't feel like they have a purpose. And that's one of the greatest things that we see, and we love it.
Oh, I love that. I love that. We're going to talk some more about that when we come back from the break. This is Peter Rosenberger. I'm talking with Chad and James Hampton. They're the co-founders of Huntin the Truth. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Truth Network and truthnetwork.com.
Welcome back to Truth Talk Live. This is Peter Rosenberger. Glad to have you with us. 866-34-TRUTH, 866-34-TRUTH. We were talking in the last block with Chad and James Hampton. They are the founders of Huntin the Truth Ministries. I want to say Hunting the Truth, but it really is Huntin the Truth Ministries, so there's no G. And the co-host of Twin Factor. I was listening to them talk about taking a guy who's a quadruple amputee, and, you know, I do a prosthetic limb outreach. Gracie, once she gave up both of her legs, she wanted to reach her fellow amputees, and we put legs on people and tell them about Jesus. They literally go walking and leaping and praising God. But we collect used limbs from around the country, and they go to a prison in Arizona run by Core Civic, and they partner with us to disassemble those limbs. We can use a lot of the parts on a prosthetic limbs, not all of it, but a lot of it, and we'll ship it over to West Africa. So if you have a leg of someone that you know, or if you've outgrown as you're an amputee, or we'll take arms too, but we mostly deal with legs, please go to standingwithhope.com and click on the prosthetics tab right there in the top right, and it says donate a used limb and give the gift that keeps on walking. Okay, we'll take it. If we can't use it, nobody can, but they'll strip it down. These inmates volunteer to do this, and they'll strip it down, and we can go all the way down to the screw level, the feet, knees, pylons, all that kind of stuff, and we'll do it. So it made me think of that, guys. So thank you for what you're doing. I want to ask you a question, both of you, and you can flip a coin and see which one of you answers. I can't tell you apart, but no, I kid you. But I got a buddy of mine out here who's an outfitter, and he called me up one day, and he said he's got a son with profound disabilities, and he outfits, and he's just rabbit hunter. And he said, you need to spend some time around a campfire, telling me that. And he's not wrong. But I want to throw that out to you guys, because I know that probably some of the better ministry times you've had have been around a campfire. Is that a fair statement?
It is. Yes, this is Chad. Yes, it is. That is a very fair statement. That's actually, you know, we hunt and we film for a TV show, but our ministry is based on relationship. Mm-hmm. And the best times we've had in ministry is after we've hunted, after we do the stuff. We sit down with people around a campfire, and we talk about hunting God and His plan for our life. That's another mission, and really a statement that we teach when we go out is how to hunt God and His plan for your life. Hunting obviously is the basis of what we do, But the word hunt and the word seek in the Bible have the same definition. It means to pursue after. And so that's part of what our book, Secrets of the Hunt, is based on also, is we have 8 secrets in that book that teach people not only the secrets on how to be successful in hunting animals, but more importantly, how to hunt God and his plan for your life. And those same secrets that make you successful in the field will also make you successful in growing in your relationship with God and then finding what his purpose is for you and plan is while we're here on this earth. So, yes, we do a lot of talking, just building relationships in general, but also talking about God and how to hunt him. Yes.
James, what's a scripture that you keep coming back to as you have launched this ministry and the relationships you've built? What is the scripture you keep coming back to that kind of defines who you are and where you feel like God has been leading you through all this?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. So back in 2004, I was deer hunting here in Michigan, and I was at a point in my life where I was just frustrated. I was searching for God's plan for my life, but I couldn't find it. I couldn't put my finger on it, and I had some stuff going on in my life that I was just very frustrated. I tell people I was hunting for my own plan at the time, and it just wasn't working out. I got frustrated. And so my wife was diagnosed with cancer, and that just had a bunch of things going on that just wasn't going my way. So I was deer hunting one night, and I told God, I said, God, I'm done hunting for my own plan. What is your plan for my life? And as I prayed that night in the tree stand, I heard God share with me in my spirit. He said, I want you to hunt for me like you hunt for these deer, and I want you to teach my people to do the same for the rest of your life. And I always carry a little camel Bible in my backpack when I deer hunt. So I grabbed the Bible that night as the night went on, and I opened up the Bible, and I opened up to Psalms chapter 14. And I was reading that chapter, and in verse 2, it says that God looks down from heaven on the sons of men to see if there are any who understand or any who seek God. And earlier in the early segment, Chad explained that the word hunt and the word seek have the same definition. So me being a diehard hunter, I take that word hunt and put it in that verse, and that verse says that God looks down from heaven on the sons of men, which is everybody, to see if there are any who understand or any who hunt for him. And it was like God was telling me, I'm looking for hunters. God's looking for hunters, not necessarily just hunters after his creation, but he's looking for hunters that want to hunt for him, want to seek him and pursue him with all our hearts. And so I knew that was confirmation of what I felt God was sharing with me in my spirit. And so I called my brother up, and I said, when I got home that night, I said, Chad, I believe God spoke to me in the tree stand, and he wants us to start a hunting ministry called Huntin the Truth Ministries. And it comes from the verse, John 14:6 is another verse I read that night. That verse says, Jesus answered, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man come to the Father except through me. So I told Chad, I said, I believe God wants to start a hunting ministry called Huntin the Truth Ministries. It comes from John 14:6. And then I shared Psalms 14:2 with him, and that verse is what actually got Chad and I to write an outline of our book, Secrets of the Hunt. We wrote down the outline and the 8 secrets that God gave us about hunting deer and hunting him, and it turned into a book, and it was published in 2008. And so Psalms 14:2, to answer your question, Psalms 14:2 is the verse that really started Hunt the Truth and started everything for us. And that's the verse I always go back to, and that's one of the main verses that we share when we speak everywhere.
I love that. Chad, if people want to find out more about you guys, get engaged with you guys, have you guys come and speak, all the above, what's the best way for them to do that?
You can www.twinfactortv.com. Our website has all the information that people would need to book us for an event. Also information about the show, the ministry, and the book. It's all right there on the website. But also on YouTube, Twin Factor, we have all the episodes that air on Dish and Direct TV. There's a lot of people out there that don't have Dish and Direct TV. They do a lot of streaming. So we put all our episodes on YouTube also on our Twin Factor page. But twinfactortv.com is the main hub of all the information. And then we're on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're on X. So they can interact with us on social media and also visit our website.
Wonderful. And I will, when I put this out on a podcast later on, I'll put all that stuff and link to you guys in there. I got to ask you, we're going to go to a break here in a minute, but before I let you guys go, do you ever go pheasant hunting?
We used to pheasant hunt every once in a while when we were growing up. That was back when there was a lot of pheasants around in Michigan. Most of the pheasant hunting that we have participated in the last 10 years have been our youth hunts that we do for our ministry. We have a couple pheasant ranches around locally here where we live, and we used to do pheasant hunts, youth pheasant hunts every year. We don't do them every year now, but we do those whenever we have the opportunity to do them.
Well, I want to try it. I've heard it's a lot of fun, and I'd have to go to eastern Montana or the Dakotas, and I am going to try it, and I'm going to just do this slowly because I've never been able to do this. I've been, for a lifetime been a caregiver, and I still am, but now that I live out here, and I've been out here for several years, I'm thinking, why am I not hunting more? And we've got this thing out here in our little town at the end of this month. It's called Hunter's Feed, and people put together booze, and we go around and taste all these wonderful recipes. I think some people are just cleaning out their freezers. I'm not sure, but I can't. Don't hold me to that. But I've had some of the best food out here with elk, moose, pheasant, all kinds of game, and it's wonderful. And I thought I need to be doing this more. And I got a pheasant that hangs out. We don't have many where I am now, but there's one that always hangs out right down here by the road, and he'll come out and see me about this time of year and talk to me. No, he doesn't talk to me. He does. He does see me.
You'll enjoy pheasant hunting. Yeah.
I've heard it's a lot of fun, and I hope I won't look like Tim Waltz when I'm out there doing it. But I don't want to Elmer Fudd this thing. But I'm going to learn, and like I said, I have 4 brothers who all look at me and scratch their heads. And my one brother is thinking he wishes he was a twin at this point so he could use my tag. And but no, I kid to all the fish and wild game people that are listening. I'm kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke. Don't take me to task on it. Chad, we got to go. James, we got to go. I want you to know how much I've enjoyed this, and I'd like to have you come back on. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you so much. Awesome. Thanks for having us. God bless you. Yes, God bless you.
Chad and James Hampton. Yes, sir. You bet. twinfactortv.com. twinfactortv.com. This is Peter Rosenberger. This is Truth Talk Live. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Truth Talk Live.
You're listening to the Truth Network and truthnetwork.com.
Welcome back to Truth Talk Live. This is Peter Rosenberger, 866-34-TRUTH, 866-348-7884. You just heard that segment from Joni Eareckson Tada, and I want to wish her a happy birthday. 75 years. Her birthday was this week. It was the 15th, I believe, and we celebrated with her Saturday evening in Thousand Oaks, California. I flew down and joined a host of folks there to really have a fabulous time with her. I've had the privilege of being friends with Johnny and Ken for many years, and I can't really describe the profound impact that this woman has had on my life and then Gracie's, and that we get to be friends with them. Gracie has sung a couple of duets with Johnny. It's on Gracie's record, and then Johnny, on her latest record that she cut one of the songs that I wrote. And you can go out and hear that. It's called I Can Only Hold You Now. And I wrote that with a friend of mine back in Nashville. And Johnny, just incredibly inspiring. Ken wrote the foreword to my book, Hope for the Caregiver. And Johnny mentored me through writing some of these things, because she's written, 10,000 books. I mean, she is so prolific. And it was remarkable, because for somebody with quadriplegia to live to be 75 years old is extraordinary. And it's not just living to be 75. You understand she was hurt at 17. So she's been living this 57 years now, is when she got hurt. And she is, she's just an anomaly when it comes to this, medically speaking. And Gracie was hurt when she was 17. She had her car wreck when she was 17. Joni, of course, I think most of you probably know the story of her diving off that dock. And for me, the hit of the evening, I listened to two individuals in particular share, and one of them was Doug Mazza, who was the CEO of her organization, Joni and Friends, for 20-something years. He's retired now, and he has a son with profound disabilities. And the other was Steve Estes, who really mentored Joni when she was still a teenager, still brand new to this difficult reality of hers back in the late 60s. You got to remember, she's been in that wheelchair since Lyndon Johnson was president. Does that give you some perspective? And Steve Estes is a well-known pastor and author, and he wrote her book, A Step Further with her, her sequel, and then I think one of the finest books on suffering, which is called When God Weeps. And he wrote that with her as well. And I would highly recommend that book to you if you're dealing with hard realities. If you're not dealing with hard realities, I still recommend it, because I think we're called as Christians to be present in the painful things of other people. And if we're not showing up and being able to grieve with them, mourn with them, just sit with them, and be able to point them with clarity to Christ in the middle of their hardship, then I got to ask you, what is our faith all about? What good is it? And that is, I go back to Jesus' own words: sick, naked, thirsty, hungry, prison, stranger, and he's pretty serious about it. And we're going to have to look him in the eye, and he's going to ask us about this. He said that this is what it says in his word. And I listened to Doug share stories about Joni, and I will share one with you that was just profound. When Joni found out she had cancer, that she's gone through a couple of rounds of breast cancer and had a pretty rough journey of it. And it's one thing to do that; it's another thing to do it as a quadriplegic. And she was in his office at their ministry headquarters there in Agora Hills, and Ken knocked on the door, he said, and came in and said, I just heard from the doctor from the test results. And Doug got up to excuse himself and to leave, and said, I'll give you guys a moment. And Johnny said, no, you stay right here. And so Doug said, I stood there kind of trying to make myself part of the wall. And Ken said, Johnny, you have cancer, and here's what we have to deal with. And the doc says this and this and this. And she was very quiet for a moment. And the room was very quiet. And then Doug related the story that Joni said, God must be up to something really big. God must be up to something really big. It's an extraordinary statement. And Doug asked her, he said, how can you make such a statement? And she said, look at what he's done with my paralysis. Imagine what he'll do with my cancer. That is from someone who has a clarity of the gospel. And so I ask you and me, let's ask ourselves here, do we have that level of clarity when faced with very difficult things in our lives? God must be up to something big. Look what he did with this. Imagine what he can do with this. And it goes back to that great hymn that I love so much. I won't go over to the caregiver keyboard without me. You know that one? Oh, God, our help in... That's the caregiver keyboard, by the way. I just slapped that together. But, oh, God, our help in ages past, our hope for years to come, our shelter from the stormy blast, and our eternal home. Do you know that hymn? If you don't, spend some time with it. Oh God, our help in ages past. Do we recognize that thus far the Lord has brought us, and he will see us? And we sing that song all the time, Amazing Grace. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, we have already come It was grace that brought us thus far, and grace will see us home. Do we believe that? Christian, do you believe this? And if so, would other people know? And I look at my own life, I look at the work that Gracie and I have done, and I'm inspired by my own wife, who gave up both of her legs. She relinquished them after many years of struggling to save them, and her surgery count is over 86 surgeries now that I can count. And she's had a pretty rough go of it since she was 17, since Ronald Reagan was president. And yet I see the faith, and I see the strength, and I see the clarity of thought that she has of trusting God. And Johnny's, the message I heard from Steve was just parallel to Doug's, as these two men who have known Johnny and worked with her so closely for a lifetime, and as we celebrated her birthday. And it was really powerful. And I treasure my friendship with her and Ken, and we've wept together. There have been times when we have had moments in the hospital together via FaceTime when Gracie was in a very, very difficult place. And I got her on FaceTime. I said, "Look, I need you to help me out here," and because it was a tough thing. And Johnny would sing to her, and then Gracie's done the same and sung to Johnny, and these two women who have almost 100 years of disability between the two of them, to build one another up. And so I ask you again, and I ask myself this: Christian, what do we believe? Do we have that type of clarity of thought that we can sing in the midst of our heartache, that we can praise God and build one another up and point another to Christ? I'm never comforted by people saying they're there to me. Not one time. And I've been doing this for a long time. But I am always strengthened and comforted when people come to me and help stiffen my spine to point me clearly to Jesus. To say, let me tell you about the saving power of Christ. Let me tell you about the gospel. Sing them over and over again, wonderful words of life. You know that hymn? Wonderful words of life. Wonderful words of life. You know that hymn? That's a great hymn. We got to sing life to each other. Sing life to each other. Speak life to each other. Our country needs it. Our country's counting on people and things and elections and everything else to somehow bolster our spirits. But no, the only thing that does it is the gospel. And I got to hear it every day. I have gospel amnesia. I have to hear it every day. I did a song on my CD, Songs for the Caregiver, and I put on there, I need thee every hour. And I put that on there because nobody's written I need thee every minute yet. I got to write that song because that's a great hymn. I need thee every hour. I need thee. And friends, I would tell you that we do. And so I would encourage you, and I thank you for listening to this program. Thank you for listening to this station. And I encourage you to listen more. And if you have questions, if you have any comments about this, if you have any thoughts on this, if you're struggling with stuff, you go out to my website, peterrosenberger.com. I have a thing called Caregiver 911. If you're really hurting right now, particularly as a caregiver, you're taking care of somebody, you got an alcoholic or an addict in your family, you got somebody with Alzheimer's, you got some special needs child with autism. There's a starting point for you right there on my website. Would you take a look at it? And I also encourage you to reach out to the show. And you can contact me if you got a question or something. Just go ahead and contact me from there. We're about, as Christians, we're about lifting one another up and pointing them to Christ. Okay? That is our highest goal. And what I heard from Joni when she spoke at her birthday, it just oozes out of her. There's so much gospel on her. And I thought, what a model. What an individual. And may we do the same. I want you to know how much I do appreciate you spending this time with me on Wednesdays. I won't be here next Wednesday. I will be in Nashville performing at a funeral for a dear friend of ours. And you can, but we'll be back in a couple of weeks, okay? This is Peter Rosenberger. This is Truth Talk Live. And we're so glad that you joined us. Go to peterrosenberger.com. That's ROSENBERGER. And you know what? Healthy caregivers make better caregivers. We'll see you next time.
Another program powered by the Truth Network.